I'm Joanna Penn from thecreativepenn.com, and today we're talking about how I have both the iPad and the Kindle and how I use both of them quite differently for my reading and my consumption and my work. So first of all, I've had the Kindle for about a year. I was one of the first people in Australia to get one and I love it, and I've done other videos on that. And I've had the iPad a few months, again pretty much since it came out in Australia. I'm a bit of a geek really. But yeah, I really do use them quite differently. So first up, for reading fiction, just fiction novels, I really like the Kindle. I don't like distractions when I'm reading a fiction novel. I want to get into that fictive dream, into that world. So I pretty much use the Kindle device on its own for reading that. Reading in bed, for example, I really only use the Kindle device itself. So yeah, that's that. And then I read on the Kindle apps on different machines. On the iPad, for reading fiction, I only use the Kindle app. I've tried the iBook store and it's more expensive, there's less books, and also I'm pretty much sold on Amazon as a brand. I have, so many books there now that it pretty much is my library. So having the Kindle app on the iPad is brilliant, especially for non-fiction. I do read non-fiction on the iPad, especially if it's hyperlinked into other things, like videos and that type of thing. So in terms of my business, The Creative Penn, I do read a lot of blogs and I do tweet a lot of links on Twitter, and so I do have to read a lot of material in order to feed that stream for stuff to put out on the social networks. So I read probably 300-400 publishing and writing and reading blogs every week. So what I really like to do is I use Google Reader on the iPad, and I also use a brilliant app called Flipboard, which I absolutely recommend. If you've got an iPad, get Flipboard. It basically reformats your social networking streams, your and other online material into a nice magazine style that you can just flick through, and it's very lovely to read, and different things pop out at you depending on how things get formatted. Much better than reading just a static stream of material. So I read those things and I save links for later, and then I'll come back and share. But basically, instead of sitting at my computer and doing that, I now find myself in the hammock on the couch with the iPad reading that material. So in terms of consumption of blogs, other books and things, I pretty much use the iPad for that, and Flipboard is my recommended app. I also do a lot of online courses and a lot of reading materials in PDF format. Now I really like the Goodreader app for this on the iPad, and I can be often found again on the couch or in the hammock with the iPad, my notebook and a cup of tea, and I'll be learning in that way, because again with the multimedia links, watching video, you just plug in some headphones, you can essentially have this interactive learning experience from the iPad, and it just feels much more relaxing to do that from the iPad device than from a laptop, which is, even if you have a light one or a mini one, it can still feel more like work, whereas the iPad feels more like play. So I really like that feeling of, just participating in the online community. I'm certainly using Facebook a lot more because I have an iPad. I'd almost got away from using Facebook, so that's really helped. I also went to Bali last month to do a speaking event there for 5 days, and I was actually in Bali for over a week, and I found the iPad to be the best device for traveling because it combines everything. So I could pretty much use Skype on the iPad for all my phone calls, which saved me a lot of money, I can tell you, because the roaming's pretty expensive in Indonesia. I also used it to check my email, to do my Twitter, to catch up on things. So really with those things, I also had the Kindle app on it, so I had my books. I didn't take the Kindle device with me, I just took the iPad. So pretty much it can do all of those things at once. It can also, as a speaker, you can use Keynote, you can have pages on there. So as a traveling device, I really think that the iPad is a clear winner in terms of the device that you can take around the world with you, and I've recommended it to a number of people because you can also have photos on there and other stuff. So yeah, as a traveling device, the iPad definitely rocks. So I guess to summarise, the iPad is for me, it's more a replacement of what I would do on my laptop, on my computer, at my desk. It's taken me away from my desk and allows me to do more of that stuff just, with a portable device. So I think that's really exciting. The Kindle I still use for dedicated fiction reading and pretty much, just for reading books, whereas the iPad is a multifunctional device. I can't see how the iPad and the Kindle could be compared to each other in terms of doing the same thing, because they don't do the same thing. And I definitely have a place for both of them in my life. And I definitely still read the books that I read on the iPad on the Kindle app. So yeah, I think Amazon and Apple together make a pretty powerful combination. So thank you. I'm Joanna Penn from thecreativepenn.com.